Welcome back, Gundam guys and Gundam gals. PatrickGrade here from GGInfiniteNews.com. This time, bringing you the first part of the video review for the Master Grade Gundam Sandrock Endless Waltz version. As you can see, I have quite a few empty plates, a mess of nub clippings, so there's probably a kit to look at here somewhere. So let's go ahead and start by taking a look at the legs and feet. Usually one of my favorite parts of a kit to build are the legs and also the chest, so I always have high hopes for the legs, and these guys are pretty cool. As you can see, they have a pretty unique design as far as Gundams go, with a third or fourth color being the yellow, used for trim along the ankle armor and on the bottom of the shin there. I think that's a pretty nice touch. I'm not a big fan of yellow, but this is used sparsely enough here to where it's not a big deal. I think it really adds to the effect of, you know, the color separation and everything. You can probably tell that I've panel lined here, and my favorite marker that I use usually dried up, so I'm using a Gundam Real Touch marker, and I don't know how happy I am with the result. So it may look a little ugly or dirty with the panel lining I did, so just please forgive that for now. But anyway, so the cool part about this guy is the ankle armor. It pretty much surrounds the whole bottom of the shin and top of the feet, and it looks pretty nice. But it does hinder the side-to-side movement of the ankle quite a bit, and the back and forth isn't too bad. On the feet, there is no mid break there. It's a solid pose. So it's a little disappointing for Master Grade, but nothing too bad. And there's some nice color separation here with the gray inner frame hidden behind the toes there, and a couple notches for some panel lining along the edges. And up here in the knee, we have some neat design elements as well, with more of the inner frame poking out on the side here, as well as between the two knee pieces of armor. And I've panel lined, or I've kind of colored in some of the notches here to add a little bit more color. Looks okay, I guess. The knee bends at a complete 180, and it's a nice tight joint as well, so there's not going to be any kind of balance issues from the knee flopping over. And you can see we have a small hip joint that is really tight as well, so that plugs into the torso. So all in all, I think the legs look pretty nice. Kind of a nice step away from the normal Gundam design, but still falls in line with the overall wing aesthetic. The torso is also pretty unique. All 6 of the skirts are on their own independent ball joint, so that gives them quite a bit of movement, especially the front skirts here. They are on a hinge ball joint, so they're 2 separate connections there, which allows them to move around quite a bit, which helps with the leg posing and everything. So the side skirts are pretty nice too. Again, they're on their own ball joint, so they can move around quite a bit, and it's a pretty secure connection, so they don't pop off very easily. There are no beam sabers on this kit, so there's no slot to plug them into or anything. So these guys are just there for effect. There's not really any function to them other than just kind of being there. The back skirts are similar to the front skirts, to where they have multiple panels of white and some nice yellow edging, and they can move around quite a bit too. And as far as hip joints go, there's no sliding mechanism there. This is all standard plug and play kind of thing. So overall, I think the torso is pretty nice. A little too much yellow for my taste, especially since they're, on almost every piece has a little bit of yellow on it. But it's not too bad though. I like the purple, how it stands out from the white and the yellow. I think it's kind of a nice touch. And here's usually my favorite part to build of a kit, is the chest unit. And this guy looks pretty nice. There's not a lot of moving parts or anything here, just the 2 shoulder joints and the neck joint. Otherwise, it's all just kind of solid, except for, of course, the cockpit hatch there to let us see Mr. Winter down inside. And even though these guys plug into each other, there's no ab crunch or anything, so this is just a solid piece here. But it looks really nice. I like the lines and the color separation, and the overall design is pretty cool. The only thing I kind of wonder about is why the shoulder cannons or shoulder missiles here have two different colors. I don't know a good reason why they did that, but whatever. And I like this blue too. Reminds me of the Titans blue. Looks pretty nice. And of course on the back is a poly cap slot for the backpack to plug into. So all in all, this is a pretty nicely designed chest, although simple. And here's a look at the head. As you can see, it's a pretty uniquely designed head unit with the long side panels here and the Roman soldier helmet thing kind of going up top. And it's a nice use of the yellow as well. Quite a bit up here. The yellow is starting to grow on me. I kind of like it more than I did before. See, we have the eye stickers, the forehead and back camera, and the red for the jewel and the goatee. I didn't line the head yet because there's some real thin channel lines, and I didn't want to try to make the marker do all the work, so I'll line it when I get a chance, when I get a new micron pen or something. But for now, it's pretty simple. So here's a look at the hands, arms, and shoulders. And as you can tell, the shoulders got quite a bit of attention when it comes to design here. They're really uniquely designed. This motif kind of reminds me of something, but I can't place where I've seen it before. Maybe it's modeled after some old armor designs or something. But again, it looks really nice. The only thing is this side armor, while it looks nice, it hinders the articulation quite a bit. You can't get the arm out too much to the side. That's pretty much the extent of your outward movement there. With the arms themselves, they have a pretty decent elbow joint. It bends almost 180. And it rotates below the shoulder joint. The hands are of course on a ball joint that moves around. And the cuffs here are separate and free floating, so they kind of move along with it. The arms themselves are really simple. Nothing besides the attachment point for the shield here to really look at. But they work just fine. And here's a look at the backpack. Overall, it's pretty simple, but it functions really well. We have these two independently swinging arms here that you can connect the shoulders to and lock them in place. We have 4 thrusters along the bottom. And again, these weapon arms here are independently moving, and you can kind of turn them around a little bit too. So that's pretty cool. Without the weapons attached to it, it looks kind of simple. But I think the overall function of it really makes up for that. And there's a nice big peg to plug into the torso. And I like the purple color too. I think it looks pretty nice here. And it's good to have a different color than white or blue for this guy. So it looks pretty nice. And here's a look at the beam machine gun. Here we have it in storage mode. We can fold out the stock and bring down the long handle here, so that way you can attach to the hands. This is a really simple build. Just 4 or 5 pieces of plastic put together, all the same color, and put a sticker on there for the sight, and that's about it. Like the high-grade Jesta, this is a pretty unique design as far as beam weapons go in the Gundam universe. You don't see too many machine guns, or at least one that looked like this. The only thing is I wish they would have given us 2, because you can peg this into either side of the shield, and it would have been nice to have 2 to put on the shield, make it look a little more beefy. But overall, this is fine. It's kind of a throwaway weapon, nothing too fancy, but it looks nice. And also it pegs onto the back of the torso, That's what this is there for. So pretty cool. And here's a look at the most unique weapons I've seen in a while for a Gundam kit, the Shotels. I may be pronouncing that wrong. It's either Shotel or Shotel. I don't know. So if I'm pronouncing it wrong, I apologize. But even though it's a really simple design, these guys are very effective at looking pretty badass. The curve of the blade is really cool. We have a silver version and a clear energized version. The hilt consists of 3 parts, either side of this thing, and then the handle. And the handle's on a little swivel joint so it can move back and forth to allow for posing variations. And here on the handle you can see there's kind of a gap, and using that gap you can plug the 2 handles together to create a pretty cool looking weapon. And even though this connection is pretty simple, it works really well. And with the handles being able to move around still. And of course you can still move the handles around in this mode too. So you can have a different looking weapon, kind of a boomerang kind of deal. Looks pretty cool. So again, these are really simple, but I think they're really effective at looking pretty dangerous. The blades are impressive. And just the simplicity of it overall makes it look really nice. So here's a look at the shield. This of course is in kind of a serpent head kind of motif with red stickers on either edge here to represent the eyes, as well as I guess a forehead camera or something there. There's a claw that kind of detaches and swivels down. Mine's a little loose, so it doesn't stay in place very well. Well, I guess it is now. So I don't know if that's typical of most of these guys or if I just have a weird one. On the back we have a connection point for the forearm that has 2 different modes. That way for the standard. And if you want to do the cross-cutter thing, you plug it in this way. So that gives you a little more room for the Shotels to clear that plug into either peg up here. And there's a little combined swivel action to move those guys around. So I think the shield looks pretty nice. You know, 5 colors is a lot for the shield. And there's a lot of mechanical detail here on the back that is begging for some panel lining or dry brushing or something. So some real good opportunity here to make this look really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up part 1 here and be back in a day or so with part 2, where I'll take a look at how it looks with everything put together, the articulation, the posability, and give you my final thoughts on the quality of this Master Grade. So thank you very much for watching part 1. Stay tuned for part 2, of course, and I'll see you soon.